This conference will now be recorded.
Please let me know once you are able to see my screen. Okay, that's great. So see here, yesterday I think we have discussed on how to work with data types, and we have seen few of the different data types, and then we have seen what is var, and then we have also seen what is any type. Okay, we have also seen what is any type. Okay, so today we will see the remaining stuff about the data types.
Hi Kumar, can I ask one question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And release management means what? And environment release, one of the requirement I saw. Just after that or coming days also, you can explain like that.
Actually, I have explained about that on past days itself. Okay, if you go through the video sessions of the past days, you can see in one of the video. Okay, because
Okay.
I told you what is in LCS, you can set up a build machine, and then you can create a package out of it, and then using the DevOps, you can release it. Okay, but how to set it up, I can't show you because we don't have any LCS configuration here. Okay, we are just downloading the environment. The machine, our machine is not in LCS. It's a local VM. Okay.
Yeah, thank
How
you.
to do the manual deployment, I will show you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Just thank you, Kumar.
Okay. It got open now. So what we will do is, I hope you don't have any questions on var, any type, and all these things. So I will create one more class here. Click on the add button and then a new item, and I'm going to call that as ICI collections. Okay. So see here, I'll discussing about the collections. Okay. Because up to now we have seen primitive data types. For example, if I say integer, you can store only one value in it. If I say string, you can store only single string in it. I want to store multiple values. If you want to store the multiple values, we are going to use something called composite data types. Composite data types. And we have one more thing called collection classes. Okay. And coming to this composite data types, we have one of them. We will call it as container. Remember, container is a type in Dynamics 6. Container is not a class. Whereas coming to the collections, we have many a number. We have arrays, we have set, we have list, we have map, array, set, list, map, and then we have struct. These are the collection classes. Okay, so let's see in detail. Let's begin with the container. What is a container? If I ask you, in each and every home, you will have a container. If I ask you what is a container, what is the immediate answer that you will give me? Which is used to store? Which is used to store? What will you use here? Container. What do you do with container? You are going to use store whatever you want. You can store vegetables, you can store some
Multiple
groceries or whatever. If you
multiple
want to
things we have to place.
exactly, if you want to store multiple things into a single entity, then you will use container. Okay? Then you will use container. And coming to these containers, they are off. They are off. What is the capability of the container? The capability of the container is it can store values of variable types. Okay. The containers are capable of storing the values of variable types. This is the biggest benefit of container. Okay. For example, if I take a container and if I call container 1 as con1, if I put equal to store the values into a container, we will use square brackets. Let's say I want to store integer and then I want to store a string. Yeah, I will say hello. I will say hi, and then I want to store new GUID. Okay, I will say new GUID. Okay, I want to store one GUID here, and then I want to store date time. Yeah, system date get. Okay, like this, you can store the data of any type into a container. Okay, into a container. Now I have stored the values into a container. It is well and good. Now I want to get the values out of that container. How to do that? To do that, we need to use a loop, either for or while or do while, whatever it is. Okay, and then you can say int I equal to. See here, remember, in case of dynamic 6, the array will start at 1. Int I equal to 1. I is less than or equal to con length in the bracket. Con length is used to define length of the container. What is the purpose of con length? Con length is used to define the length of the container, to get the length of the container. And then I will say any type value equal to, I have a function called conpeek, which is used to retrieve the value from the container. Conpeek inside the bracket, you can say con1 comma I. Okay, remember, even it might be arrays or list, whatever it is, it will start with 1. So what is the purpose of conpeek? To fetch the value from the container, we are going to use conpeek. And similarly, let's say I want to replace one value in the container 1. You can simply say con1 equal to con poke. Poke means replace, peek means get the value. And then you can say container 1 comma, I want to start at position 1 2 3 4 5, fifth position, and then I want to add the values. I will say again 500 kk date time util colon get system date time. Okay, so actually if you want to compare this, for example, okay, then what you can do is you can take one more container and then you can write cont2 here. Okay, you can write cont2 here, container cont2 equal to, this is how I wrote. Okay, let's see how what it does and what does exactly it return. Okay, next, now what shall we do? If you want to set or if you want to delete a value inside a container, you can use conpoke and you can make it empty. That is one way. Okay, you can make it empty one way. And if you want to insert a new value into a container, then there is one more way. Con2 equal to con insert in the bracket, I will say container con2 comma, it is asking the starting position, I will say 3 third, and then I want to add adding, that's it. I want to add only one value. You can add n number of values in it. I'm adding how many values? I'm adding only one value. And similarly, let's say I want to try one more here. Let me type con2 plus equal to, I will say con1. Okay, I will say con1, and then I'm trying to insert container. I'm using plus equal to, and then I'm doing this. Okay, let's do one more thing. Con2 equal to con insert inside the bracket, I will say con2 comma con1. I am saying insert container. Let's see what makes the difference. Okay, we will debug and we will see the difference in each of them. Okay, if you want an element in the container, how to do that? We have a function called confind. What is the function? The function is confind. Okay, you can say confind, and in the bracket, okay, it is returning the index. Okay, and I'll say index or idx equal to confine. In this I will say con2 comma, let me give some 500 as the value. Okay, let's see how it finds. And similarly I will say a, or in the next step idx equal to confine in the bracket con1 comma, I will say j. Let's see. I'm trying to find the value that exists and I'm trying to find the value that does not exist in a container. I'm trying to find the value that exists in a container, and then I'm trying to find the value that does not exist. And similarly, let's do one more thing. I want to use con2 equal to con_del in the bracket. I will say con2 comma, starting third position. I want to delete uh, 3 elements. Okay, or let's say 4. You can delete any number of you want. Okay, I'm trying to delete. And similarly, I will say con1 equal to con null. Means I want to delete all the elements from con1. Okay, so these are the functions which are available in a container. Similarly, if you want to convert container to a string, we have con to str. String to a container. If you have a comma separated string and you want to convert it to a container, we have str to con. Like that, we have few functions. Okay, now I'm adding a breakpoint. I will set this ICI collections as the startup object and then run. Oh, it's throwing the error here. That's great. I want to see what is that error. 1 second. Okay, it's again compiling. Let's wait for a minute. Let's wait for a minute here. We will fix that error and then we will move forward. I'm waiting for the error to pop up. Let's wait for a minute. What did it say? Argument 2 is a mismatch. Oh, what is this? Why it is a mismatch? Let me check. It might be expecting a start position. Okay, I will say start position is pi comma control S done. Okay, now it will not throw any error. Let me run. Okay, let it run. Okay, I'm waiting for the breakpoint to hit here. For the first time, it will take some time. Please bear with it because now you can see breakpoint got hit. Oh, still it is loading. Oh, is it loaded? Okay, 1 second. Now let me press F10 here to go to the next line. Oh, it's loading still. Just a second. Seems to be it is busy. Okay, it got loaded. Now you can see container con1. It has how many object of 7? Okay, which means the container is going to store the array of objects. So please remember, storing array of objects is dangerous. Okay, you can use the container or the any type. Okay, but whenever you see something called object, okay, it is going to occupy. It is going to occupy. Obviously, it is going to occupy more amount of memory because it needs to take the collection of the object. Okay, whatever you are going to take, it will take in the form of a object. Okay, so while working with this, you need to remember that containers will cause memory intensive operations. Okay, if you have a requirement of, let's say, a few values, then you can go with the container. But if you have the requirement of going with more amount, then you need to check for the alternatives. That is point number 1. Okay, now actually if you press F10, it will list out the value, any type value. Continuously you can see the value will get changed, which is by using a con peek. Okay, which is why we're using a con peek. And as I am using any type, it will take the value whatever it is. Okay, whatever the value type it can be, it will take. You can see high like this, it will take all the values, whatever the value it can be, it is going to take it. Okay, and the next one is here. You can see the next step, con2. I'm generating a container 2 from container 1, and in container 1, in the 5th position, start adding the element 500, replacing the element 500. Okay, so 5th position, let's see. Okay, this is con1. Let me go to con2. You can see that previously it was high here. Is that right? Previously it was high. Now it became 500 kk and data. This is how we will use replacing the container. And here I am trying to use con2 equal to con insert con2 comma 3. I am trying to add a new element called adding at the 3rd position. Okay, hope you understood the difference between con poke and then con insert. If you want to replace, use con poke. If you want to add a new element, you can use con insert. Okay, I am trying to add container 1 to container 2. What it has done? It has not added the container. If I use plus equal to, it has added the elements. Okay, now similarly I'm trying to use con insert for the similar kind of operation. Now can you see here 16, and at the position, the 5th position, it has added a container. This is the difference between plus equal to and con ins operator. Most of the times people used to think same, both are same, but both are not same. There is a difference. This is how the difference will be. Okay, this is how the difference will be. Please remember. Nowadays I'm trying to find the index. Let's see what is the index. I got 7. At 7th position we have 500, and then I'm trying to search something which doesn't exist. It will return 0. And I'm trying to delete the element. After 3rd position, 4 elements. It has came 16 minus 4 is 12. And then I'm trying to completely delete all the values. Now you can see con1 equal to object of 0. All the values got deleted. Okay, these are the functions of the container. These are the functions that exist in a container. Now you can take a minute, you can have a look at them, and you can let me know if you have any queries. If there are no queries, I will move on to the next one. Okay, you can check. Okay, hope you don't have any queries, and then I move forward to the next one called collection classes. Okay, we will move to the collection classes now. See here, in the collection classes, as I told you, there are different types. From that, the first one is called the array. Okay, array is used to simply store the list of objects. Okay, let's see how to work with the array here. I am commenting this code, and I don't know whether you have observed or not. I wrote int I equal to 1, any type val here, container count to equal to. See here, in between the code, I have used the declaration, initialization, and everything. This is possible with Dynamics 365. This is not possible in AX 2012. Okay. Actually, I thought someone might ask that, but please remember that is possible in Dynamics 365. Now, I am taking a array, and then I will use ARR equal to new array, and in the bracket, you can see it is expecting the types. I will use types. Types is the enum. So what is the type of data you want to store in this array? If you store the data of any type in this array, you can add whatever the type of data you want. If you want to store the binary large object, you can use blob. If you want to store the class, you can use class. If you want to store the container in the array, then you can store container. Date, enum, these are the types which are available for storing the data in an array. Okay, which are available for storing the data in an array. I am taking string, and please remember, if you want to store a table record into an array, you can store that using record. In the types, you will have something called record. That record is used to store the table buffer in the array. Please remember. Okay, now to add the elements in the array, you can simply use arr dot, and then check, there should be some method value. Okay, in the bracket, index, comma, you can see something square brackets. It indicates that's an optional parameter. Okay, I will say 1, comma, I will give an element called h, and I will simply copy this and paste it, paste. I am trying to add 4 elements, that will be enough. Okay, I will call this as 2, and I will say d, I will call it as 3, and I will say it as c. Okay, now I'm trying to add value again, so let's see what happens. Okay, and then you can see what are the other functions that are there. Last index. Okay, this is used to provide the last index of the array. Okay, so if you want to get elements from the array, you can simply write for int I equal to 1, I is less than or equal to last index. Okay, less than or equal to last index, and then you can say I plus plus.
12 and fourth value both are same.
Let's see what happens. I want to do the same thing. I want to see
Okay.
what happens. Okay, and then I want to get the value from the array. To get the value from the array, I will say str value equal to array dot, I have a method called value in the bracket I. Done. Okay, so this is how I'm going to work with the array. Now I'm adding a breakpoint here, and then let me start. We will see now. what happens to that array and how it is working. We will see all those things. It will be interesting. Yeah.
Why you repeat array val 1 more?
I want to see what happens, whether it throws any error or whether it is going to
You
accept
repeat
the replace the
array
value.
val 1.
Okay. Okay. It has hit the breakpoint now. It has created the array of string. Okay, 1 second. Still it's loading. Okay. Now I am adding the first element to the array. I got added. Second element to the array got added. Third element to the array got added. Fourth element, it has replaced the first value. Okay, it has added only 3 elements. This is what you need to remember. Okay. So instead of h, I would have put a. Then it would be more meaningful. Okay. Next, you can see int I equal to 1. I am using the last index. I am trying to fetch the values from the array. Now you can see 2 and the third. See, done. Okay. This is how we are going to retrieve the values out of the array. Please remember. Okay. This is how we are going to retrieve values out of the array. And that's up to you. Whatever the way you want to work, you can do that. Okay. Retrieving the values and fetching the values. Okay. And similarly, now you can see array is storing the data in a sequential order. Whatever I give it is not sorting. It is using the same pattern. Okay. Now let me do one more thing. I will simply comment this out, and I want to go for the next one called list. Okay. I will go for the next one called list. I will say list. Yep.
Why you repeat array dot val 1?
Here I want to show you
Yes.
that you can see index 1 here. Okay. If I am using the same index, whether it is going to add one more value or not. Okay. That's what I want to show you. Because most of the times what people will do is they will try to use the same index. If you are using the same index, it will not add one more value into the array. Okay. This is what I want to show you, which is why I have added 1 2 times here. And I showed you the elements in the locals where the elements are only 1 2 3, and again it did not take the 1. Okay, got it?
Okay. Okay.
And I'm taking the new list here, and in the list I will say types : and then I will use string. The same thing. I'm not going to change anything here. Okay. And now I will say list dot. So they need to give some difference between list and array here. So what they have done is they have given the add start and add end. If you want to add element at the end, you can add element at the end. If you want to add element at the beginning, you can add element at the beginning. So whatever you want, you can do that. Okay, whatever you want, you can do that. So you can add element at the beginning, you can add element at the end. Wherever you want, you can add the element. That's possible with the list. Let me use add star, and in the bracket it is expecting the any type element which is a string. I will say I will start with D, and I will use H, and then I will say add end now. Okay, we have start add end, and then I will say F. I will copy again. I will call this as E, and then again I will use F. I want to see whether it is adding the duplicate values or whether it is not adding the duplicate values to the list. Let's see that. Okay, let's see that. This is one thing I want to see in the list, and then if you want, we can create one more list. And there are, because coming to the list now, we have different types of operations. Okay, you can append, and there are multiple operations that we can do. So I want to create one more list. Okay, I will call this as list one, and then this is my list one, and similarly I want to create one more list. I will call this as list two, and this is my one more list. Okay, and here I will add DA HB. Done. Remaining I want to keep as is. I want to see what happens with the list. Okay, next, in case of list, we have something called append. Let's see how it works. Okay, list, and I will call it as combined equal to list colon colon. Oh, it's not okay. We have the merge as well. Let's see what merge does. In this, I can provide list one, comma list two. I am trying to merge one list into another, so I will call this as merge list, and let me use the combined list, combined list, or okay, let me check. List one dot, there should be a function called append list, and then I will say list two. Okay, sorry, I forgot this. There is no need of creating one more list here. You can use list one dot append list two. So it will append list two to list one. Okay. So this is about the functions of the list. Now, how to get data from the list? To get the data from the list, there are two ways. One is called iterator, and the second one is called enumerator. Okay. So see here, always the enumerator is a preferred way. Okay, the enumerator is a preferred way, because when you are using the iterator, there is a problem of data loss when you are working on multiple tires. I mean to say, when you are trying to pass the data from server to client or client to server, there is a possibility of data loss, which is why we will use enumerator. Enumerator will not do that, whereas an iterator has that problem. Okay, so please remember, you need to try to work with the enumerator only. And I will call this as list enumerator equal to, I will say list one dot get enumerator. So here what this will do is, all the data that is in the list one, okay, it will get into this list enumerator now. And then we can simply write a while loop, while, and then list enumerator dot, we have a method called moveNext, and then you can simply display that value info, and then you can say string format. Okay, string format is used to format the value into a string %1 comma list enumerator dot current. So this list enumerator, from the enumerator we are getting the current value. This is how We work with the list. Now let's see how the data is getting added and whether it is working fine or not. Let me run this piece of code. Okay, it has hit the breakpoint now. So let me press F10 here. 1 second, it's still loading. Okay, so now I am adding DH. I am trying to add a duplicate. Oh, it added the duplicate. Okay, it is adding in a sequential order. Whatever the order I am adding, it is adding in the same order. You can see here. Okay, there is no difference at all. It's simply adding in a sequence. I am trying to merge. Now let's see if I merge, what happens. Even if I merge, it is taking all the elements of list 1 and list 2 and then it is merging. There is nothing else it is doing. Okay, append list. It has appended the list 2 to list 1. Okay, and then now this is list enumerator. It is traversing the list and then it is printing the values. Done. This is about a list here. List is adding the elements in a sequential order. It is allowing the duplicates. It is even if you merge or append, you will get the combined list. Okay, so this is about a list, and if you want to print the values, you can use listinum.monext and then you can do that. But if you see this, this is a bad thing, nah? Because it is not sorting anything. So if you have the requirement where you want to have duplicates, okay, and then you want to add the elements in a sequential order, no sorting is needed, then you can go for a list. Then you can go for a list. Now I want to do a simple change. Wherever I have the list, I want to make it set. Okay, the next collection class is called set. Wherever you can see the list here, I want to simply replace that into a set. I want to see the difference. What does the set does and what does the list does? Let's see that. Okay, you'll find a big difference between both of them. Let's see that. Okay, and here in case of set, in list we have merge append, but whereas in the set it's not there. Okay, in the childhood we have learned, in the set we will have the intersection, union, like this difference. Okay, so I will call this as a set, and then I will say difference set 1, and then here I will simply delete this, and I will call this as set colon colon. Colon colon is used for calling the static methods. I'll say set 1 comma set 2. I want to see the difference by reversing it. I want to see if there is any change or not. Okay, set 2, and then here I will add set 1, and I will make it different set 2 here. Done. Okay, and I will remove this. I will call this as set union set equal to set colon colon union, in the bracket you can say set 1 comma set 2. What is union? Combine elements from set 1 and set 2 and then add it to union set, and then I will use set intersection set equal to set colon colon, I will use intersection, and in the bracket I will use set 1 comma set 2. So get the matching elements between both the sets is called intersection set, and I have something called set enumerator. Okay, we have the list enumerator na? Similarly we have set enumerator. Here you can use set 1 dot get enumerator, and here as well in place of list enumerator you can simply use set enumerator and then set enumerator dot current. This is what is the set. Okay, list and set, most of the functions are same. Now let's see how the set will work. Let me run this piece of code.
You need to also change the type of set one. It's list type.
Good catch. I need to change it. It will throw the error now saying the type mismatch. Okay, let me. Okay, it already threw out set, and then here I need to say set. Okay, done. Let me save it now. Still it is throwing the error because set does not have add start and add end. Set has only add method. Now why did you see this? How the copy and paste is going to influence the code? You can do that. Okay, because most of the times I will use copy and paste only for code, but whatever you need to do is you need to be careful. Okay, set has only one method, add. Now let me run and see. It's loading. Let it. And one thing I want you to try is struct here. Next I will discuss on the map. Struct I want you to try. Okay, it's very easy because already along back when you are learning C, you might have learned what is a struct. The same thing here again. There is no difference. it has hit the breakpoint. Now let me press F10, F10. I have added DH. Now again I'm trying to add the H. Can you see that? Duplicate value. It did not allow in a set, whereas it allowed in a list. I'm trying to add the F now. DH. Let's see where F goes. Oh, it is sorting here. Set will add the elements in a sorted order. Set will not allow the duplicates. So if you have a requirement where you don't want to add the duplicate elements and you want to get the elements in a sorted order, then you need to go for a set. Now different set 1. Can you see? Different set, it has given only D because it is retrieving the values from set 1. Now the difference is DA and HB because it is getting the difference from set 2. Please remember, depending upon if you give set 1 at the beginning, it will get the elements from the set 1, the difference elements from the set 1. If you give set 2, it will get the difference elements from the set 2. Okay, union. Even in the union as well, it has deleted the duplicate elements. It has added only new elements. Intersection, matching elements, and looping through the set. Okay, this is how we loop through the set. Set enumerator. Can you see the values on the info log? This is how it is. Okay, so this is about the set enumerator, and this is how you are going to work with set. Go ahead. Okay, this is about the set. Now let's see the last one about a map. Okay, so in C# we have something called dictionary, whereas the same dictionary is not available in AX. So instead of dictionary, we have got one more thing called map. We are going to use a map to store a key value pair. A map is used to store a key value pair. A map can have a key and the associated value for it. A map can have a key and the associated value for it. Okay, now I'm using map equal to new map, and here you can see types colon key. I will use int 64 and then value. For value I will use types colon I will use string. Okay, or let's say if you want to get the record, you can use record. Okay, because I want to show you just simply writing a simple query. We will see how to store the data. Okay, I will use ICI address and then address. To get all the records from a table, we need to use while select. Please remember, to get all the records from a table, we need to use while select address, and then here you need to use map dot and check. I have an add. In the add, it is expecting a key. I will say key as address dot rec id. It's a int 64 any type value. I will use the address as the buffer. This is how we are going to store the table buffer. Okay, now all the data got added to the map. Now I want to retrieve the data from the map. How to do that? Okay, I will add one more comma address 1. I am adding address 1 as well. Now we have something called map enumerator to traverse through the map, equal to, you can say map dot get enumerator. Map dot get enumerator. You can use while map enumerator dot move next, and then here in the map we have key and value. So how to get the key? I can use int 64 key equal to map enumerator dot current key. If you want to get the value, address 1 equal to map enumerator dot current value. I got the value from the map. And if I want to get the map, then you can use map equal to map enumerator dot current. It will return the map here, because current means current is the map here, so it will return the map. Okay, it's not returning the map, it's returning something else. Let's see. what it does. A variable, oh, it's already there. Okay, 1 second. Then map 1. Let me see. Yeah, it returned the map. Good. Let's see what happens after executing this piece of code. And now, let's say you want to find a value in a map. To find that, you can use boolean check equal to map dot exist, and then you can give some value here, 563714456. It will check for the key. If the key exists, what it will do? It will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Let's see what happens. Okay. And similarly, if you want to look up for a value, then what you need to do? You can simply say map dot lookup, and in the bracket you can use 56371445678. Some key value. Sorry, you need to give the value. Okay. The value is a table buffer. So you can say address 1. Okay. I am looking for address 1. Okay, it will be there. But please remember, when you're looking up for a value in a map, make sure that it exists. If it does not exist, then it will throw error. Okay. So you need to use if of check. Then you need to look for a map. Okay, value in the map. Okay. For example, if you want, I will create one more map for better understanding. I will say map, and then map 1 equal to new map. In the bracket, you need to use types : integer, comma, types : string. Okay. And then I will try to add some values. Map 1 dot add, in the bracket, 1 comma a, copy, paste. I'm trying to add 1 again to see what happens. D2. Okay, I have added 2 values, and here I will use map 1 dot lookup, and then I will say D. Okay, but please remember, you need to first of all check if that exists or not. Okay, map dot exist in the, oh sorry, here it's not D. Here this should be 2. Okay, map dot exist of 2. You need to check, then only you need to search for the lookup. Okay, otherwise it will throw error. Please remember. Okay, you need to use check, and then you need to look up. Otherwise it will throw error. What will happen is, if this value, if this is not found in the map, then it will throw error saying that it is not found. Instead of that, you need to check, and then you need to fetch the value. Okay, this is about a map. Now let's see how
One
does
more
this.
change you need to do in the yeah, in map 1 dot exist.
Okay, this is how you need to do. Done. Now let me run and see how it works. And the struct, I want you to try. You can try the struct, and tomorrow we will see the exception handling, how to work with the exception handling. I think already we are out of time, but let's wait for a few minutes. It will be done. Okay, now we are good. Okay, now you can see here, press F10. 1 second, it's still loading. And here we are storing the address buffer. Now if you can see here rec ID, and then it has stored the address table. Okay, you can see the map, results view 0. This is the key and this is the value. In the value you have the details. Got it? This is how it will store. And similarly, if you press F10, it will store all the records in it. Oh, we have created 6 addresses. Good. Now you can see how it will store. This is how. Rec ID is the key, address buffer is the table. Okay, table buffer. Press F10 again, F10. Now I'm getting the current key. Let's say I got the key or not. Oh, I got the key. Address one, I'm getting the table buffer. Oh, I got the buffer as well, the first one. Good. Here it is throwing the error. Yeah. What it is saying? Unable to cast object of type int64 to map. Can you see? This is the problem. Okay. This is what I want to show you. Okay. Because most of the times what people will do is they will take this map enum.current and here I have used the map. But what it is returning? It is returning the key. Okay. You can see here. I will say int64 and I will call this as key1. Okay. I will add a breakpoint here again, and now you can see here. Okay, this is how it works. One second, just give me a second. I want to check one more thing. It's running. Let's wait for a minute. Hmm. It's loaded. Let's wait for a minute. Okay. Let me press F10 here. Okay, it's loading. Let's wait for a minute. Come on. Okay. Now you can see here. Key1. Key. This is how it works. Okay. Actually, current key or current, it is returning the same. This you need to remember this. Okay. Now press F10. It will return all the values and then it will go back. It will go back to the check. Let me press F5, F10. So now you can see if the values exist, then it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Now, I'm trying to add the C again. What it has done? It has replaced. If you are, because in C# it will throw the error, but in AX it will replace. Please remember this. Existence of 2, and then I'm looking for the value. It has returned D. Done. Okay. This is how we work with the collections. This is how we work with the collections. Yeah, now it's your time. Please let me know if you have any queries on the container
Yeah,
or the
I have
collection
one question.
classes. Yep, go ahead.
But in table, can you please open a table?
Where? You
Any
want me to
table?
open address table? Okay.
Yeah, any table. Any table.
Okay.
And it's and relation.
Okay.
There are two types of relation, normal and foreign key relation. So is there any difference in any of them? I find them both similar while using.
See here, as per the name, there is a difference. Okay. Because
Okay.
foreign key relation means I showed you, if you remember, for
Yeah.
customers, I dragged and dropped the rec ID. Okay. So if you are
Hmm.
creating a relation like that, now that is called a foreign key relation. And even here as well, if you right click and create a foreign key relation, now you can do that. Whereas normal relation means you can create in the same fashion. If you want to add this address as a normal relation, you can do that. Okay.
Okay.
Only
Okay.
word wise, that means to segregate them, they have given it as a normal and foreign key. That's it. Okay,
Okay.
but you can create a foreign key relation using the normal relation. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Next.
And one question in map. Can we add no, not in map, in set.
Yep.
uh, do we have the same set type as a record?
Yeah, you will
I
have
mean
it here.
table buffer.
You can see these types now. In that types you
Yes.
have record. You can use this
So
record and you can add records in the set.
yeah, so that so it will sort by the by according to the value of that particular record. So suppose we are taking here the example in address. An
Mhm.
address contain building name, city. So
Okay.
is
So you
will
are
it
asking
compare?
how the set is going to sort. Okay.
Yeah.
That actually you can try because that depends on the kernel algorithm. I have never tried that, but mostly it
Okay.
might sort on the basis of primary index, possibly. Okay. So
Okay.
you can check that.
Yeah.
Next. Any other questions? Okay. Thanks all for the session. Let's meet again tomorrow, same time. Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks.